The Tiger and the Puppy. "That hole in our gate is a very good thing, Harmony," Yongtu said when his grandmother had finished her tale. "It lets dogs pass through, but it keeps bad people out." "Ye, Dragonhead," the old woman replied, "and it's too small for a tiger. That's what the puppy found out. By means of the dog hole he saved his village, and all the wise men and all the brave hunters had failed." The children moved closer to their grandmother. Here was a new story about a tiger. There was nothing that made the shivers go up and down their backs so delightfully as tales about this mighty king of the mountains. Korean tigers are larger than their brothers in warmer countries. The soft fur of their tawny coats is thicker and longer, so as to protect them from the sharp winter cold of the high mountain sides on which they live. Especially in the north, in those times, these huge yellow and black beasts were terror of the countrysides. In the summer, they fed upon the mountain deer and the little sucklings of the wild boar. But when the winter came and game was scarce in those rocky hills, the tigers crept down into the valleys. They prowled through the villages and even crept into the cities. Yongtu and Okesha could themselves remember when a tiger once made its way into the very courtyards of the emperor's palace in Seoul. To this village in the north, Harmony began her story. There came one winter, a great tiger, far bigger than any those people had ever seen. Strong was this beast, strong enough to carry off a grown man, and carry off a man it did, a man who was foolish enough to go out on the village street after night had fallen. Cows were not safe from that tiger, and pigs disappeared unless they were shut up tight inside the strong walls of the village courtyards. "We must set traps for Mountain Uncle," said the head official of the village, and they dug a pit at each end of the village street. Over these deep yawning holes they laid small logs and branches. They covered them lightly with earth and leaves to deceive the great beast. When he walked across them, he would surely fall in. But the tiger seemed to know about the hidden traps. He did not walk across them. Even when they were baited with live pigs, he did not go near them. Yet the village people could tell that he still came. The head official himself was frightened almost out of his wits by the sound of that tiger clawing away at the grass thatch on his roof. Only by good luck and shouting, and by beating on brass pots, did he succeed in driving the great beast away. "We must call out the hunters from all the countryside," the village people said next. The tiger hunters came in their blue uniforms and their red tasseled hats. Their matchlock guns were slung over their shoulders. Their deer horn cases were filled with bullets, and their oil paper packets of gunpowder were safe and dry inside their sleeves. They did not forget to wind around their arms the long cords which could be fired to set the guns off. Walking swiftly and softly on their straw sandals, they started out for the hills. The village officials saw the hunters depart with relief. The Korean grandmother continued, "Surely such a band of strong, brave men would fight the tiger. They would beat about in the bushes until he came forth. They would wound him with their guns and finish him off with their spears. Then his precious soft skin would be the prize of the village official himself. The hunters could have the tiger meat to eat. He might also let them have the bones, teeth, and claws to sell to the medicine makers. In Korea in those times, powders made of tiger bones, tiger teeth, and tiger claws were highly prized. The ancient warriors swallowed those medicines to give them strength and courage, such as only a tiger possesses. Harmony herself always took a tiger bone tonic in the spring when she felt weak and tired." "Did the hunters catch the tiger, Harmony?" Okecha said, almost holding her breath in excitement. "No, baby dear. They came back empty-handed. Perhaps it was because the beaters were afraid to go into the deepest parts of the forest. Or perhaps old mountain uncle was once more too smart for them? Let us put a new picture of Honorable White Whiskers in the spirit shrine outside the village, the people said. Let us call on the spirit of 2E, that great enemy of the tiger. He will help us drive him away. That night, at the slightest sound, the villagers would run out into their courtyards crying, 2E is coming, 2E, 2E. But the bloody feathers of some chickens that had strayed out of their courtyard showed that the king of the mountains had been there once again, in spite of their calling upon his spirit foe. So frightened of the dreaded tiger were the people of the village that they all hid inside their houses at night. They shut up their animals, and when the yellow and black beast stalked down the road, not a living creature was to be seen, not one, that is, until on a certain night a foolish puppy left the side of its mother inside the stable and crept out to the gate. It was winter, and the great tiger was hungry. When he saw the head of the little dog thrust through the gate hole, the beast licked its chops. With a bound, he made for the hole, but it was, of course, far too small for him to force his huge body through. Ordinarily, a tiger would not have bothered with a morsel so small as this puppy. Nothing less than a cow or a pig or a man would have attracted his notice. But the village folk had been so watchful that he had no food in days, and his stomach was empty. Lashing his great tail and snarling deep down in his throat, he fixed his flaming eyes on the mud wall before him, beyond which his prey lay. The mud wall was high, and there were sharp, jagged rocks along its top, but the tiger thought he could leap it. Gathering his strength, he made one mighty bound, and over he went. But no puppy was there. With a sharp yip of terror, the little dog had run out through the gate hole into the street. The tiger could only see the tip of his tail. There was nothing for Mountain Uncle to do but to leap over the wall after him. With another great effort, the yellow and black tiger made the high jump. But, of course, this time again he found no puppy there. The little fellow had wisely run back inside the gate. The children laughed in delight at the picture their grandmother painted of the tiger leaping back and forth, and of the puppy running in and out of the gate hole. That was good, Harmony, Young Tu cried. And what finally happened? Okesha asked eagerly. What finally happened? Well, as you all know, there is no braver beast than a fierce tiger, nor one more stubborn. But the tiger's great head can hold only a single idea at a time, and this beast thought of nothing but of his own hunger. Over and over the high wall he leaped over and over until, at last, his strong heart gave out. And that's how it was. So the story goes that next morning the villagers found the tiger lying dead outside in the street and a little puppy fast asleep in the hole in the gate. Half the year the Koreans hunt the tiger, and half the year the tiger hunts the Koreans, so the Chinese say, Harmony told her grandchildren. When a tiger kills one of our hunters, a man's soul becomes the slave of the beast. His spirit is forced to take on again his human form. He walks along the mountain path and lures other hunters into the thickets where the tiger can kill them. Only when a second man is eaten by the tiger may the soul of the first go freely up to the heavenly kingdom. This Korean grandmother remembered tales of men who turned into tigers and of tigers which turned into men. In all the tales, the tiger was strong and the tiger was brave. That is why on the Korean flags of those times, there was often a tiger with the flaming tongue or a firebrand in his claw. That is why tiger heads were embroidered on the caps of the palace grounds. That is why, too, these leaping beasts were shown in the designs on embroidered screens and inlaid chests of Yanbang homes like the Kim's. But in most of Harmony's stories, also, the tiger was shown to be far less wise than he was strong. That is the reason, so this Korean grandmother said, why a weak little puppy was able to get the best of the mighty king of the mountains.